House Republicans are trying to pressure Senate Democrats to pass a budget for the first time in almost 4 years. Now, the Republicans have unveiled a bill to suspend the debt limit with a vote set for as early as Wednesday. Details of that legislation include this: suspension of the debt ceiling for 3 months. On the 19th of May, the debt limit would be automatically increased from $16.4 trillion to accommodate any additional borrowing the Treasury requires. The bill also would withhold the pay of lawmakers if Congress fails to pass a budget by the 15th of April, putting that money in escrow so as to, well, comply with the 27th Amendment of the Constitution. Joining us now is Congressman Louie Gohmert, member of the House Judiciary Committee, vice chair of the Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, and Homeland Security, and Republican of Texas. Good to have you with us. First, your impressions before we turn to the debt limit of the president's inaugural address.
Well, Lou, he started out quoting from the Declaration, from our founding documents. You know, we're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. He said that although these were self-evident, they're not self-executing, as you were pointing out earlier. Now, as a lawyer, that sounds okay in court, you know, where you're talking about a self-executing will or affidavit, but I'm afraid for those of us listening to an inaugural, it was more reminiscent of Abraham Lincoln saying, "We will live, America," talking about our country, "will live through all time or die by suicide." Will be self-executing. So there are things in his speech that made me think perhaps that's the path he's going. Because when he talks about, you know, we can no longer have a rich few make it and others have many having difficulty barely making it. Look, he has done more to help the rich get richer and the poor get poorer than any president I can recall in my lifetime. And looking at stats that I had before, he has been arrogant at times. I hate to say it, and I hate to say it, but sometimes dismissive, even derisive. And there were those kind of comments in this. But the best thing, Lou, the best thing about the speech, and I made this note because he said, we cannot mistake absolutism for principle or substitute spectacle for politics or treat name-calling as reasoned debate. Thank you, President. I think now 4 years, we'll have 4 years of peace where he won't be calling Republicans' name for a change. I was so glad to know that was in the speech.
And I'm sure that generosity on his part will be reciprocated almost immediately by the GOP. Let's turn to the debt ceiling. The Republicans
do we have a debt problem?
The Republicans making a move to go ahead and move it to end the nonsense. Will tell me here tonight there will be no discussion by the Republicans whatsoever of shutting down the government, that this is going to stay positive and move forward.
All I want to do is bring spending under control. That's what most of us campaigned on, because we are bankrupting this nation, that we cannot continue on this road.
In all respect, you and I have talked for years.
Sure,
I have heard that speech to the point that it makes me think you don't realize that while you are in the majority, conservative Republicans, that you don't realize fully that you are in a majority of a House that is only one-third of government.
I get it, but nothing that raises revenue, nothing that provides money to any part of our government gets there unless the majority in the House pass it.
Right.
Lou, that's leverage. Okay. That's leverage to bring spending under control. And we have just finished 2 years where every fight we came up to, we were told, you know what, this is probably not the best place for the fight, but now the next CR,
Congress,
that's where we're going to fight. You know what, the CR is not the best place. Let's do the debt ceiling, the next one. So at some point, we have got to use the leverage we have to bring this spending down and to actually make the president do what he said in his speech.
You have the leverage to perhaps aggravate. You may have the leverage, in point of fact, to pressure the Senate to move toward a budget. You have you still have the leverage to say no.
There could not be a bigger windmill we're jousting at. Now, that is an exercise in futility. I am sorry. I cashed out everything but my house, basically, in the way of assets, in order to run for Congress. I had made sacrifices in income to become a judge when we needed one in Tyler, Texas. And now I'm told we are going to give power to the Senate
Who's telling
to
you that?
determine whether or not House members will get paid. What's the thinking behind that?
Who's telling you that?
Our leadership has said this is, and there were people in our conference that want to do that. They said, hey, let's pass a law that says we don't get paid if everybody, the House and Senate, doesn't pass a budget. I'm going, you're going to give the Millionaires Club down in the Senate the authority to decide whether or not we get paid in the House when we do our job?
There are a few millionaires, Congressman. I know that,
in the House, there are.
Yes, there are more than a few.
There sure are.
But let's
I'm
get
proud
to
for
this
Nancy
one
Pelosi.
little deal, because we're out of time. We got a hard break coming.
Sure.
I love talking to you, Congressman, or sometimes I should say I love listening to you. But the fact is, we've got a hard out. Is this debt deal that's being proposed now that you'll be voting on Wednesday, it looks like, are you going to support it? Will it prevail, and will it work?
Not without spending cuts, not without a balanced budget amendment, something more than just kicking the can down the road.
Well, sounds like we slipped back a ways there. Congressman, it's always good to talk with you. We appreciate it. Come back soon, and we'll follow your progress.
Thank you.
Congressman Louie Gohmert, one of the terrific folks on Capitol Hill.